Your hand is on that gear selector right now doing something that is costing you a transmission. Not tomorrow, over years, quietly, one habit at a time. You know the one, dropping into neutral at the light because someone told you it rests the transmission. Coasting down the grade in neutral to save fuel. Slapping it into reverse before the car is fully stopped in the driveway. You are not imagining that little clunk when you shift, friend. And no, you are not the only one doing it. Half the folks who walk through my door do at least one of these. Here is the number that matters. A padded transmission quote in my town runs $3,000, $4,000, sometimes north of $5,000 to replace the whole unit. The actual fix on most of what causes those symptoms? A mount, a sensor, a habit change, under $300. It is not that your car is fragile. It is that the shop that hands you that estimate makes more money selling a rebuild than they do finding a bad mount, and fear is the fastest close in the business. The good news is every habit on this list is free to fix. You do not buy a thing. You just stop doing it, and the money you are about to lose stays right in your pocket. You do not need a mechanic for any of this. You do not need a scan tool. You do not need to know one gear from another. You just need to know which moves are costing you. I am Sal Whitaker, 12 years inside a dealership service department watching the playbook, 30 years running my own shop cleaning up what that playbook did to folks. What I have got is 10 things you should never do in an automatic, ranked from the cheapest padding to the scare job that costs the most, and every one of them is a habit, not a part you have to buy. Do not skip number 10. That is the one they charge 4 figures to fix, and it is the habit almost everybody does at every red light. All right, come on over here. Number 1, coasting in neutral. You crest a hill, slip the lever into N, and let gravity pull you down while the engine sits at idle. The selector letter you are moving to is that N right in the middle of the PRNDS. Feels smart, feels efficient. It is neither. Every one of these gets measured the same way. The habit is free to fix. The damage is what they pad. Here is what is actually happening inside the case. In drive, the transmission oil pump is loaded and pushing fluid across every clutch pack and bearing. In neutral at road speed, the input side is spinning fast from the wheels, but the pump load and the fluid flow across the internals change. You are spinning parts without the same lubrication pattern they were engineered around. Do it enough, on a long grade, and you are glazing clutches that were meant to be pressurized. Here is the whole fix. Step 1, leave the shifter in drive. Step 2, if you want to slow down going down a real grade, tap your brake or, on modern cars with paddles, let the transmission downshift itself. Most of them will hold a lower gear if you tap the brake firmly on a descent. Step 3, on a manual mode car, the manual is written for exactly this. Pull the shifter toward the minus, drop it a gear, let engine braking do the work. That is what the S position and the manual gate exist for. Not for coasting, for controlled descent. Now here is the part nobody tells you. Do not ever shift into N at highway speed to save gas. Modern cars in drive with your foot off the gas are already cutting fuel to the injectors on deceleration. You are not saving a thing. You are just spinning your transmission without the load it was designed for. And if you slam it back into D at 50 miles an hour, that is a driveline shock. Cost of stopping this habit is zero. Cost of what it turns into when a shop diagnoses the clunk it causes down the road is a transmission service line item that runs $300 to $500, or worse, a full replacement quote. Free fix, driveway job. Number 2 costs more the longer you keep doing it. Number 2, rolling forward in drive and jamming the lever backward into R before the wheels have stopped turning. You have done it in a parking lot. Everybody has. That lever moves from D up through N to R, and the transmission has to physically disengage one clutch pack and slam another closed, the reverse clutch pack, while the wheels are still telling the drive shaft to go the other way. Inside the transmission there is a reverse clutch pack. Steel plates and friction plates stacked like poker chips, squeezed together by hydraulic pressure. Do this once, they take it. Do it twice a day for 5 years and the plates glaze. The sprag that holds direction gets shocked, and the mounts that hold the whole transmission to the frame start to tear. Then you get the clunk. Then you get the quote. Here is what to do instead. Step 1. Come to a full, complete stop. Not a rolling stop. A stop where the nose of the car settles. Step 2. Foot firmly on the brake. Both feet if you're new to this, whatever it takes. Step 3. Then and only then, move the lever from D through N and into R. Step 4. Wait for the little bump that tells you reverse has engaged. Step 5. Ease off the brake and back. Adds 1 second to your day. Saves you a transmission. Now here is the thing. If your car already clunks hard when you shift from D to R after a full stop, that is not necessarily a bad transmission. 12 years inside, I saw this misdiagnosed 100 times. 9 times out of 10, it is a worn engine or transmission mount, and mounts are a fraction of a rebuild. Do not let a shop quote you a full transmission before the mounts get inspected. Had a 2016 Accord, 78,000 miles, clunking hard into reverse. Shop across town quoted the owner over $4,000 for a rebuild. It was one torn rear mount, 200 and change in parts. Habit fix is free. Mount inspection is see a pro. Number 3 is worse. It damages a part the size of your thumb. Number 3. Parking on a hill, pulling the lever to P, letting go of the brake. The car rocks back an inch, catches on something inside the transmission, and holds. That something is the parking pawl, a little hardened steel hook about the size of your thumb that pivots into a notched gear on the output shaft. That is it. That is what is holding your whole car. That pawl was engineered to hold a stationary car, not to arrest a moving one, and not to bear the whole weight of a vehicle sitting on a grade for 8 hours. When you park on a slope in P without the parking brake, every ounce of that car is loaded against a piece of metal smaller than a golf tee. 2 things happen. The pawl wears or bends, and the shifter locks up. You cannot get it out of park because the load is on the tooth. Correct hill parking, in order. Step 1. Roll to a stop with your foot on the brake. Step 2. Keep your foot on the brake and set the parking brake, pedal, lever, or electronic button, whatever your car has. Step 3. Ease your foot off the brake pedal. The car will settle onto the parking brake. Maybe an inch of movement, that is normal. Step 4. Now, with the car settled and held by the parking brake, shift into P. Step 5. Turn off the engine. When you come back, reverse the order. Start it, foot on brake, out of P, then release the parking brake. Do not use P as your parking brake. It is called park because it sequences the transmission, not because it substitutes for the physical brake system. And if your shifter is already stuck on a hill and will not come out of P, do not force it and do not bang the lever. That is a broken pawl or a broken shifter. That is, see a pro. Still holding number 10 for you. Fella came in with a 2019 Silverado. Dealer quote to repair the transmission north of 2,000. His pawl was fine. His shifter cable was stretched from years of that habit. A $200 fix. Habit change is free. Cable is shop work. Number 4 is a habit that shocks the driveline in 1 second flat. Number 4. The neutral drop. Sitting still, lever and in, right foot mashing the gas to bring the engine up to 2,000 or 3,000 RPM, then flick the lever into D. The car launches. You feel like a hero for 2 seconds. Meanwhile, the forward clutch pack inside the transmission just got hit with the equivalent of a small controlled explosion. In a normal launch from a stop, the torque converter multiplies engine torque smoothly from idle. In a neutral drop, the engine is already spinning at 3 times idle, and when the clutch pack grabs, it has to synchronize the difference instantly. Friction plates that are supposed to see gradual apply see impact. You will shear splines. You will tear a mount. You will break an axle. I have seen all 3 from the same launch. How to launch an automatic if you actually want speed. Step 1. Come to a full stop and drive. Step 2. Hold the brake with your left foot, only if you know what you are doing, and only for a second or 2. Step 3. Bring the RPM up gently against the converter. You will feel the car push against the brake. Step 4. Release the brake. That is a brake torque launch, and the transmission was designed to accept it up to a point. Step 5. If you are just driving to work, none of this applies. Start from idle. Nobody cares. Do not, under any circumstances, do a neutral drop in a modern car with electronically controlled shifts. The TCM sees it as a fault condition, and some transmissions will store a code the dealer will use to void your powertrain warranty. Ask me how I know. And on a truck with an open differential, all you are doing is smoking one tire and torching a spider gear. Cost of the launch is zero, until it is not. Cost of a snapped axle or a torn mount or a warranted transmission that is suddenly not warranted is 4 figures, easy. Habit fix is free. Any damage from it is shop work. Number 5 involves both feet doing the wrong thing at once. Number 5. Driving with your left foot resting on the brake pedal while your right foot works the gas. Or worse, holding yourself on a hill by feathering both at the same time. That is 2 systems fighting each other. The engine is telling the car to go. The brakes are telling the car to stop. Guess who loses? 2 things wear out at once. First, brake pads. A pad only needs a few pounds of pressure to drag on the rotor, and if your left foot is resting on that pedal light enough that the brake lights barely turn on, you are still wearing the pad. Second, the transmission torque converter. Holding the car with throttle against the brake dumps heat into transmission fluid faster than the cooler can shed it, and heat is what kills automatics. Re-brake the habit. Step 1. Tuck your left foot under the seat or against the dead pedal on the driver's side floor, where it belongs. Step 2. Right foot only, pivoting between gas and brake. Step 3. If you are stopped on a hill and do not want to roll, use the brake, not the gas. Full brake, foot off gas, engine at idle. Step 4. On a steep hill, set the parking brake as we covered in number 3. Step 5. If you are new to driving, take an hour in an empty lot and drill single foot pedal work until it is automatic. Just an hour. Do not confuse this with proper left foot braking for performance driving, which is a specific skill for specific situations. What we are talking about is the resting foot habit, the driver who has been doing it for 20 years and does not know. And if your brake lights are on when you are not actively braking, you are doing it. Have somebody stand behind the car and check. Brake pads I would otherwise get 80,000 miles out of are done at 30. Transmission fluid that should look pink at 100,000 looks burnt at 40. Habit fix is free. Brake and transmission work is see a pro. Number 6 is a habit that can total a transmission in a single afternoon. Number 6. Flat towing. You bought a tow bar off the internet, hooked your car behind the motorhome, dropped the lever into N, and off you went. On most automatic cars, you just cooked a transmission over the course of a weekend. Because in neutral, with the engine off, the transmission oil pump, the thing that sends fluid to every internal part, is not turning. In an automatic, the oil pump is driven by the engine. Engine off means pump off, means no fluid pressure. But the output shaft is spinning the whole time you're being towed because the wheels are turning. Every internal bearing, every bushing, every clutch pack is spinning dry. 50 miles behind a motorhome and you've got a transmission full of metal shavings. This is one of the fastest ways to destroy an automatic that exists. What to do instead? Step 1. Open your owner manual to the towing section. Every manufacturer has one. Step 2. Read whether your specific car is approved for flat towing at all. Most are not. Step 3. If it is not, the only correct methods are a flatbed, all 4 wheels off the ground, or a 2-wheel dolly with the drive wheels lifted. Step 4. If it is approved, follow the manufacturer procedure exactly. Some require the ignition and accessory, some require a specific gear. Some require restarting the engine every so many miles to circulate fluid. Step 5. When in doubt, flatbed. Do not trust the tow bar salesman on this. Do not trust the RV park neighbor who has been doing it for years. 12 years inside, I watched cars come back off vacations with transmissions full of shrapnel because somebody bought a bar and assumed. And if a shop tells you a burnt transmission is just how they go, ask them if it was ever flat-toed. 9 times out of 10, yes. Ford Escape came through my shop, flat-toed 90 miles behind a motorhome, transmission cooked. Owner cost was $5,000 for a reman unit plus install. Cost of a flatbed rental for that trip was a couple hundred. Habit fix is free. Damage is see a pro. Number 7 is a habit your right hand does without you knowing. Number 7, resting your hand on the gear selector while you drive. Fingers curled around it, thumb tapping. Feels comfortable. Feels sporty, like you are piloting something. What is underneath your palm is a lever connected on modern cars to a position sensor, some bushings, and a spring-loaded detent that tells the transmission which gear you have asked for. Every ounce of pressure from your resting hand transfers down the shaft to those bushings and to the position sensor electrical contacts. Over months, the bushings wear oval. The sensor sees a slightly different voltage than it should, and the transmission gets confused about what gear it is actually in. You will see the gear indicator flash, or the transmission will hesitate at engagement, or you will get an intermittent light, and a shop will blame the transmission. How to break it. Step 1. Both hands on the steering wheel, 9 and 3 or 10 and 2 if you are older school like me. Step 2. Hand comes off the wheel only to shift and returns to the wheel immediately after. Step 3. If you catch yourself resting your hand there, physically move it. Put it on your leg, put it back on the wheel, anywhere else. Step 4. If your car has a proper armrest between the seats, that is what it is for. Step 5. If you have been doing this for years and the shifter feels sloppy, get the bushings inspected before anybody talks transmission. Do not let a shop condemn your transmission based on a hesitant engagement or a flickering gear indicator without inspecting the shifter linkage and the position sensor first. Both are dollars, not thousands parts. I have watched shops write up full transmission jobs on cars whose only real fault was a $15 shifter bushing. That is not a your car problem, that is a their quote problem. Bushings and sensors on most cars run shop cost $200 to $400, all in. Padded quote for the transmission the shifter fault mimics runs $3,000 to $5,000. Habit fix is free, the parts are shop work. Number 8 is a habit that burns fuel and heat every mile you drive. Number 8, leaving the selector in S, or the manual gate, or L, or whatever your car calls it, for your daily commute because it feels faster or more responsive. That S position, right next to the D on your selector, is a sport program. It holds lower gears longer and keeps the engine higher in the RPM band. It is designed for spirited driving, not for grocery runs. 2 things happen when you drive around in S all day. 1. The engine runs at higher RPM than it needs to for the same road speed, which means more fuel. You can watch your average miles per gallon drop noticeably compared to D. 2. Higher RPM at cruise means more heat in the engine and the transmission. Heat is what shortens the life of every fluid and every seal in the whole powertrain. You are not making the car faster. You are aging it. How to actually use it. Step 1. Everyday driving, city, highway, cruise, that is D. Let the transmission and the TCM do what a whole engineering department spent years programming them to do. Step 2. S or manual mode is for specific situations. Passing on a 2-lane, climbing a long grade with a load, descending a long grade using engine braking or towing. Step 3. Twisty mountain road on a Sunday for fun, sure. Drop it to S and enjoy it. Step 4. Back to D when you are back to normal driving. Step 5. If your car does not have an S, do not invent one out of the numbered positions unless the manual says so. Do not confuse S with a performance upgrade. It is not making horsepower. It is not making torque. It is only telling the transmission to change gears differently. And do not use L or the lowest manual position at highway speed. On some cars, that will flag an over-rev fault, and the powertrain warranty conversation gets awkward. 12 years inside, I saw it kill claims. Fuel penalty from driving an S all the time is real dollars every tank, adds up to hundreds a year. Heat damage to seals and fluids is eventually 4 figures. Habit fix is free. Any consequences, see a pro. Number 9 is a warning light people press on through and should not. Number 9. The check transmission light, or the wrench, or on some cars the service powertrain message. It comes on. You turn the car off, turn it back on, and it is gone. So you keep driving. What that light was telling you is that the TCM saw something out of range. A solenoid, a speed sensor, a pressure reading, and it wants a look. When the TCM sees a real fault it cannot handle, it drops the transmission into limp mode. That is usually a single fixed gear, often third, with softened shifts, meant to get you home without more damage. Ignore it, and the underlying fault gets worse. A $10 speed sensor that could have been swapped in an hour becomes a solenoid pack, becomes a valve body, becomes a rebuild. Every step of that ladder is a bigger quote. What to do, in order. Step 1. If the light is on, do not panic and do not ignore it. Step 2. Get to any parts store with a code reader that reads transmission codes. Most will pull them free. Step 3. Write down the code, exactly, letter and number. Step 4. Look up what that code points to. A specific sensor, a specific solenoid, a specific circuit. Step 5. That is the sentence you walk into the shop with. Tell them you have got code X, which points to component Y, and please diagnose that circuit first before quoting broader work. Do not ever clear the code yourself and drive on hoping it stays off. Do not let a shop skip the code list and quote you a transmission based on symptoms. 12 years inside, that was the single most common upsell trick I saw. Skip the diagnostic, sell the rebuild. If a shop will not show you the codes on paper, that is a red flag the size of the shop sign. A 2015 Camry came in. Dealer had quoted the owner over $4,000 for a failing transmission. Actual fault was one speed sensor, well under 300 installed. Habit fix is reading the light, which is free. The repair itself is see a pro. All right, number 10, the one you are doing at every red light. Number 10, shifting into neutral at every red light. That is it. That is the one. The habit somebody's uncle told you would save the transmission or save fuel, and it is the most common thing done wrong to an automatic in America, and it is the one that generates the most padded quotes in my shop. What is happening under the console is this. Every time you drop from D to N, the transmission disengages a forward clutch. Every time you go back to D, it re-engages it. At every single light, every day, for years. That clutch pack is a wear item, and you are cycling it thousands of times more than it was designed to see. Modern automatics in D at a stop, foot on the brake, engine at idle, are essentially unloaded. The engineers already built idle neutral behavior into the transmission programming. You are not saving the transmission. You are adding wear that was not in the design math. A commuter who does this at 40 lights a day, 5 days a week, is putting an extra 10,000 engagement cycles a year on that clutch pack. 2 years in, the plates start glazing. 3 years in, harsh engagement. That is when the quote arrives. How to stop, plain and simple. Step 1. At a red light, foot on the brake, leave the selector in D. Step 2. That is the whole procedure. Step 3. If the light is going to be long, a train crossing, a drawbridge, set the parking brake and shift into P properly, the way we covered in number 3, and then reverse the order when you are going. Step 4. If somebody tells you leaving it in D is bad for the transmission, hand them your owner manual open to the section that says otherwise. Do not confuse this with proper N use, like starting the car in an emergency, being towed correctly, or an actual manual maneuver. And if you already have harsh engagement from years of the habit, do not let a shop condemn the transmission before mounts, fluid condition, and software updates are checked. That is the trifecta they skip when they want the big number on the estimate. A young fella brought me a Civic he had been shifting to N at every light for 2 years. Dealer told him he needed a new transmission, over $4,000. It was a mount and a fluid service, under $400. I know you wanted a secret, something clever, something with a part number. It is not glamorous. It is not clever. It is just the habit that means nobody ever gets to hand you that estimate. Free. Free fix. Let me be straight with you before you go. Some transmission jobs really are transmission jobs. I have charged folks for hard work on cases full of metal, and I slept fine both nights. What I am telling you is that the vast majority of what gets written up as your transmission is going is a mount, a sensor, a fluid, a software update, or a habit. And knowing which is the only thing standing between you and a $5,000 estimate. Your car is not out to get you, neither am I. That padded quote is the only thing in this whole conversation that ever was, and now you can spot it from across the room. Every one of these 10 habits was free. The habit is free. Breaking the habit is free. The tools it costs a shop to actually diagnose the fault are cheap. What they charge you for is fear. A good shop lives on the repairs it talks you out of. That is not a slogan. That is 30 years of folks sending me their daughters and their mothers because I showed them the worn part, or the healthy one, before I charged them a dime. That is the whole business, right there. All right, your turn. Drop a comment. Tell me what you drive and which of these 10 you have been doing. I am not here to roast anybody. Everybody has done at least one. And if a shop has already handed you a transmission quote and you are staring at it right now, not sure whether it is fair, type out the number and what the car is doing. Year, make, mileage, symptom, the quote. I read them. I will tell you if I would have written the same estimate or if I would have sent you home. Next time I am opening the transmission service files. The flush versus the drain and fill. When it actually helps and when a shop is using it to hide something. Real fluid brands worth the money. Real part numbers. And the exact sentence that keeps a flush from turning into a $1,500 upsell. That one will save you the most. I will see you there. Take care of it, and it'll take care of you. See you at the shop.